I look like a wreck.
Today's the day that I send out my first batch of queries, and I'm like completely losing. I'm still like, ooh, kind of jittery with. I was so nervous before. Oh, I'm losing my mind. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Hi, my name is lynndjung. I am a science fiction and fantasy writer, and as of this week, I officially have a literary agent. The secret is out. I have signed with Laura Crockett at Trida US. Both the agent and the agency are absolutely amazing and a dream come true. I wanted to preface this video by just saying like a huge thank you to all of my writer friends, my non-writer friends, loved ones who helped me get through this process, who listened to me complain and gave me advice and connected me with people. Couldn't have done it without those people, but specifically could not have done it without my friend Eunice, who was amazing through all of this. And I also wanted to just give a shout out to you guys, because honestly, if I hadn't had the support and the encouragement and the positivity from my audience about my writing, about Moths, I probably would have given up on at least writing in traditional publishing a long time ago, but I'm here now because of you guys, and I just wanted to say thank you. But this isn't a video about that. This is actually a video about my querying journey. I don't know, I'm just so excited to share this aspect of publishing with you guys. So I have had a literary agent before, but when I signed with that agent, I didn't have a YouTube channel yet. I'm almost lucky in a way, even though it meant that my relationship with my previous agent very professionally and amicably ended. I get to go through this whole process again and share it with you guys, and hopefully if you're interested in traditional publishing and getting an agent and all those things, kind of maybe impart some lessons or some solidarity or some advice. This is gonna be a weird rambly video because I'm just so excited and so happy and so relieved in a lot of ways. But for a bit of backstory, yes, I was previously agented from 2018 to around 2023. So I spent most of 2023 and 2024 working on what I've been calling Project Moths. That's not the actual title, just kind of a nickname. Moths is a dark academia adult fantasy set in Paris. You can hear more about that project and the process and my struggles with it in the writing vlog series that I made, mostly during the latter half of drafting and revisions. And I was really determined to query this book. One, because dark academia was kind of having a moment, and two, because I do think that Project Moths is a strong representation of the kind of like weird, genre-bendy, intense, heavily thematic kind of fantasy that I want to write moving forward. Although it's definitely far from perfect, I am so proud of this book. I'm proud especially of the characters and the themes and the world. I just felt like I was putting my best foot forward with this project. So in early April, I finished my first draft, and by the end of May, I finished my first major revision. So I sent out my first batch of queries on May 30th, as you're about to see, which was definitely jumping the gun a little bit, but in my head I was like, oh, querying is really slow now, so I'll take that extra time to kind of just like do the revisions that need to be done. Yeah, the funny thing is that, and I'll mention this in the vlog you're about to see, nobody read this book cover to cover except me when I sent it out. Do not do this. I would say just make sure that you feel secure about your book, make sure that it is the best it can possibly be, have other people read it and give you notes, because honestly the anxiety of having to send out a full that I knew had only undergone one revision was something else, but we'll get into that. So yes, you're going to see a vlog that's basically just a little snippet I filmed every time something happened in the querying journey, and then I'm just going to do a follow-up with like my statistics and just a roundup and a summary of everything that happened. But I'm also considering doing a breakdown of my query letter that also kind of encompasses querying strategy and my personal opinion on how to put your best foot forward with querying. So let me know in the comments below if you're interested in seeing that, and then I'll make that video. And so my disclaimer before I get into this is that the journey that you're about to see is not typical. It was very fast. I know that querying now, and this is what I was expecting when I went into it, it tends to be a lot slower. So if you are 4, 6 months, a year more into your querying journey, I just really don't want this to like make anyone feel bad, because I did get an agent. I got my first offer within like a month, and that is not typical. I think the main thing that really kind of worked in my favor is that I have had representation before, so that is a big caveat. There's even a little checkbox in a lot of the query manager forms that ask if you've been represented before. But regardless of that, I still wanted to share my querying journey with you guys, because even though it was atypical, I'm not doing this to like show off necessarily. I mean, a little bit, because I'm very proud of how it panned out, but I'm not doing it to make anyone feel bad. I kind of just want to share what happened to me. And also, so many of you guys have been with me, literally with me through the painful writing process of Moths. Videos like these where people succeeded at querying or even didn't succeed at querying, they were super helpful. They help kind of pull the curtain back on this process. And I believe in transparency. So that's my caveat. Those are my disclaimers. And let's get into the vlog. Good morning. Oh, let me get adjusted here. It's literally like 9 a.m. on May 30th. Today's the day that I sent out my first batch of queries, and I haven't sent out any yet. I finished my last round of revisions last night after a lot of crunch time, and I'm going to kind of like look over everything really quickly, like my query letter, my synopsis, and the first 10-50 pages. All agents kind of ask for a different amount. Some don't ask for pages or a synopsis at all. Last night I built up a list of around 7 agents. I don't know if this will change, but these are the agents that were on my list previously that are currently open, as well as some new ones that I found while digging around. So I'm going to start sending them my material. Once I've heard back from around half of these people, I'll send out another batch after having made adjustments. Hopefully I'll get like just enough feedback or enough of a rejection to full request ratio to kind of understand what I'm working with here and what needs to improve. For me, querying is very strategic. I have queried before, I've gotten a literary agent before, but that was back in the day of Twitter pitch contests, which was actually how I got most of my requests. When I did the Twitter pitch contest, my pitch did well enough that I had like 40-ish agents liking my pitch, asking me to submit to them. I submitted to almost all of them indiscriminately and signed with one of those agents. But now, no Twitter pitch contest. My glasses are catching the sunlight reflection. Let me turn this a little bit. At this point, my priority is making sure I find an agent who really is a good fit for me, like understands my career vision, understands what I'm trying to do with moths, and will be a good advocate for me. I've dug really deep and looked at their client lists if they have them available, and kind of like asked around, not in a super gossipy way, but just trying to gauge like, do my friends know people who worked with this agent? What do those people think? And I guess now there's really nothing more to do than to go ahead and start. I am anticipating a long wait just because I think everything in the industry is moving a little slower. Agents are so overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. I am buckling in for kind of a wait before I get any type of response. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys that little snapshot of my first day out. So let's go ahead and send out some letters. Oh, my hair looks like a mess. Okay, we're back to filming like this because I actually just, I don't know if you can tell, moved to a new apartment. It is June 1st and I have the teeniest update ever. It's Saturday, and earlier today I actually got a partial request on my manuscript. So a partial request is basically the agent asking to see the first so-and-so pages. In this case, it's 100 pages of the book. From there, hopefully that'll evolve into a full request. Obviously there's a lot of steps between a partial and an offer, but within like 2 days of querying, that is pretty good. What I'm going to do is actually wait until the weekend's over before I send that out, just so I have a little time to just look over it really fast to make sure everything's tight, and also because everything is kind of wild right now. But yeah, that's the exciting little update. I was honestly not expecting any type of response, rejection or request or otherwise, so quickly, but I'm really glad that the gears are rolling already. And again, it might be nothing, but it is a very exciting little something, like a tiny little milestone that I've hit. If you end up in the same situation with a partial request, just make sure that everything is really tight. Give yourself the time. Don't send it off right away. You can take a day or two or the weekend or whatever to just polish it, make sure it's really tightly edited. You want to really dazzle with your excerpt, so you have to make sure it's good, and it's okay to take the time to do that. I haven't really told anyone yet. Obviously I told my partner, I told my little writing group chat, and I told one other person, so that kind of is a lot of people, but I'm a little superstitious. I don't want to jinx anything. So yeah, exciting little update, and I'll let you guys know if something comes from that. I was actually just at like a nearby cafe, just trying to polish up the partial request that I got, and then I got a full request. It was so recently that I sent out my first batch of queries, and I'm kind of overwhelmed. But yeah, I have to send out more queries. I have to now polish the whole book so I can send in that full. Thank God I already started polishing up the first kind of third or half of it. But yeah, wow, that I was not expecting such a quick turnaround time. There's always a chance that I think fulls take longer now, just because it takes longer for agents to get through the actual material, but it's really good. It feels like my my query package is working. All right, I'll update you guys when there's another update. Hi, it's currently, I don't know. It's currently June 6th. All in all, out of my, I want to say like 12 or 13 queries that I've sent out over the past couple days, I've gotten one partial, I've gotten one full, I've submitted both of those now officially, and then I have 2 form rejections. And I feel like that's a good balance. I don't want to say I'm not feeling the stress of it, because I do keep waking up with like bubbles of anxiety in my belly, but I don't feel too hopeful and I don't feel too like negative about it. And now that I've submitted my full, and I feel like I'm not gonna get another full request for a little while, because the way I remember querying and the way I feel like it usually works is you get that first initial wave within the first week or so of like the immediate responses. And then it kind of like takes a really long time before you hear back from anyone else. So I'm kind of letting the manuscript rest. I did like a really quick pass over edit before I sent it in. I can definitely see some things that I still could fix, want to fix, because I'm just like that. Like there's always something for me to fix, but I'm just leaving it for now. And I'm gonna work on other things because I was getting stressed out. A couple of my friends, so like not my writer friends, but like my school friends who have been reading my work forever are reading it. I'm gonna kind of like wait and see what they say and see if it merits another like pass. Whatever happens, happens. It's so early on in this journey. It takes so much time to kind of like get your finger on the pulse in terms of what publishing wants and what agents are trending toward. I think it's a good sign that I'm like 2 for 4. That's a pretty good ratio as far as I'm concerned. And the agents that did send form rejections were ones where I was like, I don't even know if this really fits their list, but I'll send it anyway. So I'm not like, oh, you know, this happened because these people are rejected because the querying package isn't strong. It's more like those were agents who didn't really make the specifications of their wish list or what they were looking for widely available. Like they're kind of like, I represent fantasy, and I was like, cool, I'll send my kind of weird fantasy book. So it was more like that versus, oh, this is someone who specifically said they wanted sapphic stories, dark academia, fantasy, societal commentary, and said no. So clearly my query isn't getting those points across. No, it's not really so much that. So I don't feel a need to super tweak my querying package yet. This could change. I have had multiple eyes on it and pretty much everyone says it does its job. So I am not too worried about that side of things. I'm more worried about the book itself, but again, just sent it out. If a rejection does occur on the partial or the full, then I would hopefully get enough actionable feedback to kind of take a step back and tweak accordingly, which is always really helpful. Although sometimes, you know, we are getting form rejections on fulls these days, so I'll update you guys if anything else occurs. But for now, I'm kind of just like, the first wave is done, so I can rest now. But I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Finally have some actual lighting in here because I got some lamps in. Hi, it's currently June 11th. Yesterday I got in, well, it was the partial request that I had turned into a full, which is amazing because that means that at least the first 100 pages or so are doing their job. And so now I'm doing like a last little pass and just trying to get everything cleaned up so I can send out that full, which means that I'll officially have 2 fulls out to 2 agents out of like 10 or so. I'm really glad that the partial was compelling enough for the agent to request more. In terms of actual like writing and how I feel about this book and about querying, I'm actually less anxious about querying and more anxious about like the book not being good. So it's hard for me to tell if it's just in my head or if it's really something that's wrong with the book. But because I can't pinpoint anything that would make it bad or that I can fix, it's just like an uneasy sensation and anxiety that I'm feeling when I open this manuscript and look at it. And right now I'm trying to do my little pass edit to just clean it up and I don't feel good about it. And I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna force myself to because I really want to send this out tonight now that I have a little bit of free time. But yeah, that's pretty much what's been happening. Nothing too exciting really. Like I said, querying's pretty slow. I'm shocked that I've gotten the number of full requests that I've gotten. Like I'm shocked that I got even one so quickly. I'm letting it rest, trying to focus on the other project I've been working on. So I'll catch you guys up the next time something happens, but that is the June 11th update. Bye. Oh my god, I literally am just doing this update with my retainer in. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. So I just submitted that full. It's still June 11th. I submitted it, but I submitted a version of the document with all of my friends' like comments on it. So I resubmitted a clean version. It's through Query Manager, so I was able to submit another file. Oh my god, with like a big apology. This is so embarrassing. I'm losing my mind. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. This is so stupid. I have class literally like I have to leave in 10 minutes, but I have to turn off my do not disturb. I still feel very frazzled, so sorry for that energy. One of the agents with my full got back to me. I think it's been like less than a week since I sent out the full. It went from a partial to a full, and now it is a call to discuss the book and my career and myself. And usually what happens when an agent, usually, not always, but most of the time, if an agent wants to set up a call, it's to get to know you a little bit more before offering representation. I mean, I'm trying not to be like, oh, I have an offer for rep because it's not official yet, but it's June 19th. Like I've been querying for less than a month and I have a call lined up. So I'm so excited. It's happening on Sunday. Currently it's Wednesday, so it's gonna be a long week, but wow, I'm just so excited. I mean, it's so great. Like it's undeniably great and I can't believe that this is happening. I'll give you guys a little update next time something happens. Bye. Well, oh, I just moved this. Sunday, June 23rd, and I just got off a genuinely, like, an amazing call. Like, such a good call. Thoughts going into this? I'm actually really stressed out because, like, it's so early in the game, honestly. Like, it's only been, like, what, 3 weeks since I initially sent out my queries? By the way, I'm not... That's wild to me. That's wild, especially this time of year. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I have been represented before, but what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I'm like completely losing. I'm still like, ooh, kind of jittery with, I was so nervous before, which I don't know why, because I feel like it's usually a good thing to have a call lined up with an agent. But yes, just such a good call. I feel like this agent connected so well with my story, and especially with my main character, which, as you guys like probably recall, I have consistently kind of been worried that people would misconstrue her or find her to be too unlikable and just dismiss her right off the bat, which, you know, is true to life. But this is an agent who really understood my vision for Lark, my main character, and also whose editorial ideas really gel with kind of what I've been feeling already in this couple weeks since I stopped working on the book. I'm very excited to potentially work with this agent. I don't know, it feels crazy that I have an offer already, or I have an offer at all. I don't know why I was kind of like, yeah, I'll hear back by like October. But yes, feel very fortunate to have found someone who is willing to like champion this book that I feel like is a little bit offbeat and maybe a little bit challenging in ways that isn't typical to the fantasy market. And just glad that I had such a good call and that there are agents out there who get my book. But now the hard thing, I have the offer solidified. I now have 3 weeks. Usually it's 2 and up is fine. You can ask for 3 weeks. It's not gonna ding ya or anything. 3 weeks to notify all of the other agents who I queried or have fulls out with, which is only one person has the full right now, and let them know that they have 3 weeks to either request the full or counter offer, any of those things. And if someone counter offers, then I have to decide between the agent I just spoke with and that agent. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I kind of can't tell what's going to happen. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do now, is basically nudge all of these agents that have the query. I don't even know what I'm hoping for, because I feel like I would be absolutely delighted to work with this agent, and it's a good agency. I guess I'm still kind of formulating thoughts on that, but we have an offer on the table and we're gonna go from there, see what's going on. Let me just do a really quick update here. It is Monday, June 24th. Last night and this morning so far, I've sent out nudges to all of my pending agents. There's like 15, 16 of them. I've gotten like a steady trickle of rejections, but also 2 full requests. There's one person who I cannot contact for some reason. I'm just gonna assume it's a close no response, because it does seem like they do respond to people they're interested in seeing more material from. I feel like a goblin, oh my gosh. So I have a couple fulls to send out. I also just have so much to do. I have like an entire book to finish reading for my homework. Also Project Crips. I'm just gonna table that for this week. Yeah, so a bunch of schoolwork, a bunch of querying type of work, but it's exciting. It all moves very quickly once you get that initial offer, but I don't know if anyone else is gonna like counter offer. No matter what, at the end of the day, I'd be very happy to be working with the agent that I spoke with already. So I'm just gonna see what happens over the next couple weeks, and I'll keep updating y'all. Bye. I have class about to start in like 20 minutes, so I was in the building and I just had to like sneak off to a random classroom. I left all my stuff. I literally just got another email from an agent who, it's Wednesday, June 26th, by the way, requested my full like yesterday, and is about 30% of the way through the book and wants to set up a call for Friday. They specifically used the word entrance. They were so complimentary in their email, so I'm gonna set up that call. I'm so excited, but of course it all kind of hinges on when they finish the book by Friday, like if they still like it. But I'm very excited, and I'm gonna respond now to that email. Bye. So, hello. It is Saturday, June 29th. God, I'm just gonna give you guys a little rundown of what I've been going through in the past week since I first got the offer, first gave agents the nudge. It was out with 8, now it's down to 6 agents have the full manuscript, and the second agent did offer representation, so that's really exciting. But it's also, I'm so bad at making decisions, and both of these agents are amazing. I would be so stoked to work with either of them. That's why I queried them in the first place. And it just feels like the pros and cons, which there's not very many cons, it's just like things to take into consideration, are so evenly balanced for both of them that I really am at a loss, and I'm already bad at making decisions, so that's super fun for me. I still have about 2 weeks, a little bit extra, to actually like make my final decision, but again, the book is still out with 6 agents. I don't know what's gonna happen there. I kind of feel like I'm not gonna get any more offers, and this is kind of who I'm working with. Before this, when I queried for the first time with my young adult contemporary fantasy back in like 2018, and I got that first offer of representation. I think like 15 agents requested the full, like an absurd number, and none of them offered rep, so I only had the one offer off of that batch. Moths is a much stronger book than the first book I ever queried with, especially in its current state. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. 2 offers on the table, I have to decide, and I'm basically talking to everyone I know, trying to be like, what would you do? What do you think? So I'm just having these conversations and trying to gain perspective from different angles and see like what different authors have experienced and how they feel about different styles of agenting, because I've had 2 agents, but I feel like they were relatively similar in terms of their styles specifically. Man, it's a lot. It's kind of overwhelming. I do feel kind of like headachy, overwhelmed. I know I should be happier, and I am. I'm happy. Of course I'm happy. This is a wonderful thing that's happening, but also it's very overwhelming and I kind of wish it weren't happening. It is what it is. And at the end of the day, even though it'll be like upsetting to let someone down, whichever person I choose, like I'll be happy with that decision. Really, it's just picking between 2 wins for me. It's interesting that a lot of the, like, you know, in these calls with agents, you always end up discussing what like editorial would look like for the book that you've queried with. Yeah, I knew right off the bat that there's gonna be some more revising to do in the back portion of the book, and it's just like funny to hear it from the mouths of agents, and they always say it very kindly and diplomatically, but it's like, yeah, here's what I would, you know, what we could work on potentially. And I'm like, I kind of knew. As a writer, you know, you can't do a perfect book in one go. You can get it as close as you can on your own, and you might have suspicions about what parts of the book need work and need to be improved or expanded upon, whatever, and you don't necessarily know how to tackle that on your own, so that's what beta readers are for and critique partners. I'm speaking with agents who are able to kind of like spot the fussy areas and recognize when I'm kind of like not being lazy, but being a little lazy. The reason that the last portion of this book does feel a little bit rushed is because I really just wanted to be querying before I entered grad school, and I'm glad I did. It worked out. It could have not worked out. No one read this full book other than me. Don't do this. So I'm very fortunate that I like got away with it in a sense, and that agents are still willing to offer. And I kind of like felt that like when you're at the querying stage, your premise and your first couple chapters, first 50 pages are like the most important part of your package, your synopsis too. And I think I had a strong synopsis, even though the execution toward the end maybe didn't land as well as I would have liked. It plays out well enough that it wasn't a problem. Like, it doesn't completely fall apart at the end. It's just kind of mushy. As it stands right now, yes, I have 2 offers. Yes, I have to decide between them. No, I'm not looking forward to having to decide because I don't like letting people down or disappointing them. I'm very lucky that it's been going so well, and I'll update you guys when more stuff happens. Bye. Okay, doing this super quickly because I have a meeting. Today, I actually got an email from a 3rd agent who wants to set up a call to talk about mods, and we're gonna call on Wednesday. It's currently Monday, July 1st, and yeah, I'm really excited to talk with this agent. So yeah, that's the update. I don't know, I was not expecting this many people to be interested or to connect with the material, so very excited to keep pushing. All right. So I've been keeping my childhood friend group updated on my querying, and they sent me, they sent me a beautiful card with all 6 of them writing beautiful notes to congratulate me. They sent me all of this like food, like charcuterie types of food. It's just like one of the nicest things anyone has ever done for me, and I'm so grateful to have them. And even though none of them are writers, I'm so grateful to have their support on this journey. So I just really like wanted to take a moment to think about how lucky I am to be so supported in my writing by such wonderful people. So I cried when I got this box and opened it and saw all the notes and the card and the food. I just wanted to share that with you guys. I look like a wreck because I feel like a wreck. It is a querying update. So here's a querying update for you as of Monday, July 8th. I woke up this morning to a 4th offer of representation from literally a dream agent. And it's just so, I mean, okay, I want to put it out there. I am, sorry, gonna do my makeup because I'm very busy today, but I'm so grateful. Like, I'm so grateful. I'm so pleased. I feel so lucky and just astounded that so many people are offering representation and interested in my work and considering my work and taking the time. But it's also so overwhelming to have to decide. Every subsequent agent makes the decision that much harder, obviously. And I just hate the idea that I might disappoint anyone. Like, that is really upsetting to me. Maybe I'm getting into my head and it's not that big of a deal. Agents offer all the time, I'd assume. So of course they'd have other potential clients that they're just as excited about. So this is the last full week before I have to make a decision. I have to make a decision exactly 1 week from now. So I'm scheduling a call with this agent who just offered, and I'll let you guys know how that goes. Bye. I just wanted to do a quick update before I run off to class. Also, yes, I did get antsy and cut my bangs yesterday. It's currently July 11th. On July 9th, I got a request asking to basically extend my deadline by a week. So I did, also because like with the 4th of July sort of holiday in the US, it was just kind of awkward timing. So I was like, I'm fine with that. I'm busy anyway, and I haven't come any closer to making a decision. So I just extended it to July 22nd, which is when I'll be making my decision, end of day. But I had my 4th call with an agent, as in the 4th agent I was talking to yesterday, and it went really, really well. Like, I really, really like them, and they're a fantastic agent. Thankfully, everyone has been a fantastic agent. I don't know, it's so otherworldly, it's so unreal. After 5, 6, however many years in publishing, I've kind of fallen into this like pessimism as a defense mechanism, which is why I'm always like, no, I'll never get an agent, or I'll never sell my book. But I'm gonna have an agent. I just don't know who yet. It is a little bit awkward because extending that deadline basically means the first few agents who contacted me have been waiting for like almost a month. There's still 4 fulls out right now. So I contacted everyone who was still holding on to the manuscript and everyone who offered, and I let the agent I spoke to yesterday know as well. That's a little update. Still gonna take a little while before I make my final decision. Hi. It's actually been a little while, so I figured I'd do an update. It's Tuesday, July 16th. I was actually just watching an Alexa Dunn video from a while ago about like handling literary agent offers, and in it she's like, 2 weeks is the maximum amount of time after the first offer which you should make your decision, and I'm at like 4, which, you know, to backtrack, yes, I had 3 weeks initially because of the holiday, and then one agent asked for an extension. But yeah, so I'm at 5 offers. I got the second offer yesterday, and now we're going to call tomorrow. It's starting to sink in now, and it is still so unreal. I'm like literally no closer to making my decision, and I feel like there's so many pros and cons to literally every agent I've spoken to. I think I've narrowed it down to 2, but we'll see how this call tomorrow goes, obviously, because I don't want to rule anyone out before I've even spoken to them. But yes, so we're at offer number 5, or I'm at offer number 5. Call tomorrow. I'll update you guys on how that goes. But I am getting really antsy because I did pull that deadline. Like, originally I was supposed to have decided by yesterday. So I'm definitely feeling some kind of pressure, and that agent actually hasn't contacted me again yet, so it might have been for nothing. All right, so I'll catch you guys up later. Bye. I'm literally crusty, dusty, musty, but it's Monday, July 22nd, aka decision day, and I officially finished before 10 a.m. this morning. I sent every email I needed to send, which was 4, I'm turning down your offer of reps, and 1, I'm accepting your offer of rep. The scary thing is over. It wasn't that bad. My friend Eunice sent me a template. Obviously I didn't like copy her words directly, but I kind of used it as a guide for writing my emails, personalize them as much as possible, tried to be super kind. I don't know if it's standard for agents to reply to these, but I really wanted to like get it across that I had no bad options, which is like almost as bad as having all bad options. Every agent had something amazing to offer, but at the end of the day I could only choose one, and I've chosen my one. So yeah, if you're watching this, I have an agent. Pending contract signing, but I have an agent pretty much, as long as nothing goes wrong in the next 24 hours. So that is basically how it went down. You just saw my whole querying journey from beginning to end. And now for those who are curious, here's just a breakdown of my stats, because it might have been hard to follow the numbers in all of that. So overall I sent out 16 queries. That includes 1 referral that was what ultimately led me to my current agent, Laura, and 15 cold queries. Out of that initial batch, within the first week or so, I got 1 partial request and 1 full request. The full was from the referral. The partial request within another week turned into a full. Also in this time period, like this sort of pre-offer segment, I had 2 form rejections, which is expected. I received my first invitation to call on June 19th, and then we did that call on June 23rd, and that was when the official offer of representation came. The Monday after that, because it was a call that happened on the weekend, I sent out nudges to the 13 remaining agents who had my query and materials and all that stuff. I gave them a 3-week deadline initially because of the holiday, and I got 8 more full requests. By the time that 3-week deadline rolled around, I I was asked for an extension, so I actually turned it into 4 weeks. I don't recommend doing this. I felt so bad and I felt weird doing it, and ultimately the person who requested the extension did not offer, like nothing came to me during that extra week. So I would say, especially if your deadline is longer, don't. Yeah, I still feel really bad about it. That's why I look and sound so guilty in some of those clips. But at the end of the day, I had 9 full requests that turned into 5 total offers. 4 either bowed out because they didn't have time or just rejected me outright. And then I had like 6 form rejections and 1 closed no response. Those are my statistics, as you can see. My thoughts on querying to kind of just wrap up this video. So I will not lie. I'm gonna say straight up that having this kind of like success, having 5 offers, having such a good full request ratio, and just hearing basically like non-stop compliments about my book, it has validated me in a way that I haven't felt in a really long time. It has kind of helped me reframe my mindset to being like, oh, this is a piece of work that I can be proud of. This is a decent book that I think can be really good. But the value that I see in this book and the value that I put into it is very personal, because a lot of the reasons why this book works is that it is very personal. It's about some very personal things that are not commonly discussed, especially in the lens of like science fiction and fantasy, and I'm proud of that. Like, that is something that I accomplished. I put myself out there with that. Other people read it and they weren't completely put off by it, or they found some means to connect to it. And in general, this whole process kind of got me thinking about like what I want out of writing or why I write. A lot of it has to do with just like that element of self-expression and wanting to explore different concepts and themes that really speak to me or resonate with me in some way that I can't fully describe through the lens of fiction, and also to build worlds and have fun with that as well. So writing to me is very much a personal fulfillment exploration thing, which is also why I'm a very slow writer, and I want to only write stories like that. Like, I don't ever think that I'm going to write like IP. No offense to the people who do, like, honestly get your bag, but if I'm going to expend the effort to write, then it has to be a story that I feel very deeply and that changes me in some way throughout writing it. That sounds really corny. And so kind of like understanding where I'm coming from as a writer and understanding what the goal of traditional publishing is, which is to make a product and sell it to as many people as possible. That's definitely going to be something that I have to navigate moving forward. I haven't quite figured it out yet, but I'll let you know. Another thing that I was thinking about was the difference between querying then and querying now, and a lot of that rests on the mindset shift. Like, I was such a young baby writer when I queried for the first time, and I didn't really understand anything about traditional publishing. I just knew I had to get an agent and get one fast. Ultimately, that relationship didn't really work out. I am still like disappointed that after 5 years of having an agent, I didn't sell a book, but when I think back, I don't think either of the books that I went on submission with really like represented me and the things I want to write. Like, I don't think those would have been good debuts. So I'm kind of an everything happens for a reason type of person, and I did learn a lot from those prior agent relationships, and I'm so happy that I went through them, because I leveled up as a writer completely during that 5-year span, and it was because I had amazing editorial agents giving me amazing feedback, forcing me to think about my book from different angles. Like, so grateful for what those relationships have given me as a person. And I'm also grateful because they gave me what I needed in terms of knowing what I wanted from an agent relationship and knowing what kind of working relationship I was looking for, what kind of priorities I wanted that agent to have. I mean, like, I wouldn't necessarily recommend having an agent for 5 years and not selling, but it happened to me, and I'm totally fine on the other side of it with an amazing agent and a new book that will hopefully go out on sub soonish. While I'm on the topic of thoughts, a quick shout out to all of the amazing creators' videos that I watched on querying and their querying journeys specifically. Like, I devoured these vlogs. Off the top of my head, there was Alyssa, and then Chris's. I was rewatching older vlogs. I think Lizelle Sambers as well, and I watched a ton of Alexa Dunn videos on querying because, as always, such a font of knowledge. Oh my gosh. So I'll link all of those below, as well as the other ones that I could not think of for some reason, but yeah, watch querying vlogs, watch people's querying journeys, try to understand what it looks like to actually go through this as much as you can. That was so helpful for me in terms of knowledge and just not feeling alone. I'm gonna close out this video, properly close it out, with just some words of affirmation if you happen to be in the query trenches, or exiting the query trenches, or considering going into the query trenches, whatever stage you're at. My biggest lesson from so many years of pursuing traditional publishing is that tenacity is your best asset. This is my 3rd book that I've ever written. I'm hoping that it'll be my debut. But even if it isn't, I know that I have more stories in me and more books in me, so I'm just going to keep going. At the end of the day, that's what gets you an agent. That's what gets you book deals. Keep working on your craft. Write things that actually mean something to you. So yeah, that's it for today. Oh, I do have, I did an interview type thing, query tracker, which I was using profusely throughout this. They were so helpful, or their website was so helpful. They sent me a couple of questions for a little interview type thing, and I answered them. That link will be in the description box eventually. And that's everything. Do I have any plugs? Oh, follow me on Instagram and maybe like, comment, and subscribe if you're interested in seeing more videos about the traditional publishing journey, because I will be making those. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.